Sounds a whole lot better, huh? It is the next day. We pulled the side panel off, got everything cleaned out nice and shiny. It's not making that horrible ticking noise anymore. Finished up all of our electrical. I didn't get it, but we replaced 2 fuse holders that were worn out, and repaired some damaged wiring on the wire terminal ends were starting to burn out. So this looks good. It's all nice and shiny. Everything in here is nice and shiny. We're gonna put a squeegee blades in there. I have the brown squeegee blades loaded in here. The blue ones that came out of here were not able to be reused. What had happened is when the squeegee blades were assembled in the cartridge, they were stretched, right? So I took them all out. I was going to clean them and put them back in. And then when I went to put the first one back in, I noticed it ended about right here instead of extending about 1/4 of an inch past the cartridge on each side. So these will work. They're not ideal, right? The brown squeegee blades are meant for older machines. Basically, you have painted machines, right? This one's painted black. Yours might be painted red. It might be painted blue or some other color. The brown squeegee blades were supposed to go for all non-painted machines, which means bare aluminum frames. Will this work? Yes. Is it the best thing that we can do now? Yes, because those blue squeegee blades were not going to run. So we need to at least prove that this thing, once we get everything back together, is going to be able to go out there, run lanes like a champ, and work properly. If we decide later on, maybe we want to replace these with the correct blue ones, we can certainly do that. Like I said, this is a project. This is not, there's no like absolute deadline on it yet. It's just, hey, let's work on it a little bit while we've got some free time back here in the workshop. So today we decided to do this, and it took a little turn sideways. I didn't get most of it on camera, but she got a new buffer drive belt, right? We just talked about that. New squeegee blades. We put a new piece of tubing in our water pump and our cleaner concentrate pump as well. She's looking pretty good so far. I have noticed a couple of loose bolts on the frame walls here at the corners where the cross section meets the side frames. But we're gonna save that for another day. We're not gonna do that right now. It's getting a little bit late in the afternoon to start a big project like that. So we are going to wind down on this one. And this is short enough. I'll probably combine it with whatever our next phase is gonna be. We definitely need to take the side guards off of this side and clean and inspect everything in there. She got dropped a little bit too. Let's see if we can take more of a top-down view. It's not coming up quite as prevalent on camera, but this whole wheel's pitched out a little bit, and there is a slight gap here between the aluminum block and the frame. So the frame is actually kind of twisted or buckled a little bit. Let's look at the other side. That one's not as bad. Maybe just a hair, but not much. Perhaps the next phase, if we're gonna have this side cover off anyways, pardon me, we'll see if we can either straighten this out or put a shim between the side plate and the mounting block, and we'll pull it back square again. So our waste tank got a new filter in there. It got a new gasket around the access panel. It's got a new oil dispensing tip installed. What else? I think that's about it. We already talked about everything else. So yeah, we'll get our lids on maybe tomorrow and see if we need some shims. I ordered a couple of track shims. Well, I ordered 3 to be exact. So 2 of them went on our machine. This third one turned into a template. I bought this sheet of 30,000th thick acrylic. It's supposed to be like for a desktop protector, right? You put it on your desk and then you can't scuff, scratch, or, you know, mess up your desk. But it's pretty easy to cut with a decent pair of scissors. I just used a paint pen and traced out the original as a stencil and then cut it with some scissors. Pretty neat. Clever idea, I think. Because this was like 13 bucks for this sheet, and it looks like I can make probably 6 out of them, so I might have a bunch that I can keep with me, and if I go to somebody else's, maybe I go to your center one day, I'll have some of these ready to go. That way you won't have to wait and make a second trip, right? Well, after careful consideration, we're not going to even try to run these. We're just going to order some of the blue softer squeegee blades and just swap them out. Quick and easy, no big deal. So we've got our side cover off, and we did manage to shim that block. So now this wheel is sitting square again. It's kind of hard to see in there. We got some shadows. Let me grab a flashlight. Just like that. I think at this point we are ready to run. Even though we've got the brown blades in there, she's worthy of running. And I think what the goal is going to be, if we put our house pattern into this machine and we run some lanes with it, and tomorrow morning's league bowls on it and they don't notice the difference, then we know that this is good to go. Traced a couple more out, made some more shims, and they fit perfectly. They're installed. So the tracks, slider tracks are shimmed up, and the lids go up and down nice and smooth. Everything looks good, so we'll take it out tomorrow for a test run. So I went to set her on the lane. Oh, good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. I went to set this on the lane to run it, and it knocked off the cleaner dispensing tip. So we need to adjust our momentary wheels here and there. They are 1/2 inch heads and 1/2 inch nuts. What I like to do is plastic, credit card, fun card, etc., plus 1 business card. Just a hair. You don't want to use 2 credit cards. It's going to be too high, but this is perfect. Lane man cam. Button once on the approach to start, then onto the lane. Then button a second time to start the machine. She definitely runs. She definitely cleans pretty good. See if I can get some glare here. So here's our buff line right here, and then after it, bone dry. So she cleans really good, even though, you know, we've got the brown blades, but we'll put blue ones in there in a few days. But initial tests are looking good. Cool. Well, today's initial tests look really good. The only thing now is that wheel. She's a little loosey-goosey. So we need to see if we can tighten that up. What's going on in here? With this being a 2016 model, you've got a 1/2 inch bolt that goes all the way through. So you need a 3/4 inch wrench on the head of the bolt and another 3/4 for the nut. The newer machines, there's a threaded insert in the frame wall. So you just thread a bolt in that way. A little more convenient. You know, these wheels are still kind of crusty too. I haven't had a chance to clean them off, but yeah, tighten this up, and we will tell our friend that this thing is ready to run. That looks a whole lot better, and we wiped everything down pretty good too. What I like to do to access these bolt heads, well, the top side easy, it's right there, but take that thumb screw out and that thumb screw out. Take your whole compartment tray and move it forward, and you can stuff a wrench down there, and you'll be able to hit the head of that bolt with an open end wrench. This one took a little more than a normal tune-up would have, but it's not a tune-up, this one's a rehab, so I guess we can say another one. I hope that whoever gets this machine understands the time and effort and energy that went into this rehab. This thing runs really well. Pretty happy, pretty proud of the results. So we're gonna call this one case closed. We're done, except for we're still waiting on that oil motor cover and blue squeegee blades, but once they come in, they're gonna go in the machine. It doesn't change its performance, how it works or anything like that, so we know that this thing is good. And then when those two pieces come in, we'll put them in, but we're going to close everything out here. This is project completed.